It's at just look in the comment section. I've already shared. Let me pin that comment. Yeah, I've pinned the comment for where you can actually catch the broadcast. Yeah? So I'm gonna come off Facebook now and just focus on the broadcast we're doing. Thank you.
I'm just sharing our series on Facebook now because Facebook didn't take.
We're live. We're live.
Right. But I seem to be frozen. Okay, all right. Technicality sorted out. Good morning, everyone. I hope you're good. I hope you're having a wonderful Friday. My name is Mbali Mavundla, and I'm here with my seasonal co-host, Dr. Life's Good. How are you, Lebo? Lovely to see you.
Lovely seeing you. You good?
I'm all right. Thanks. Happy Friday. I know it's kind of rainy. There's been some delays, guys. The rain does that to us sometimes, but it's okay. We're here. Lebo, can I just introduce what we will be focusing on today? All right, guys. First of all, thank you for being here. Thanks for tuning in. You are currently following our Think Ownership series. We want you to think about the access that you have been denied, and not necessarily denied that the access that you need the most and couldn't get to because you had limited resources. Now, with our Think Ownership series, we try to present opportunities in numbers that are available for communities, especially. We don't necessarily believe that you need to venture out on a journey alone, but it's so much better when you club with other people and you are able to conquer. Two hands are better than one. It's always said. Anyways, we've been looking at the history of cooperatives recently, what cooperatives are up to in South Africa, what cooperatives are doing all around the world, and there's one interesting that I found out. I don't know where Lebu went. Hopefully he's coming back. Now, guys, with the history of cooperatives, like in general, especially with Black people, I found out that one of the things that made Black people start cooperatives was because during slavery, Black people didn't have kids access to freedom in general. So when say your husband or your wife or your kids were taken into camp, were taken away from you into somebody else's camp, slaves came together, clubbed money together in order to buy back that person, in order to buy back that freedom. So we've seen that the idea of stockpiles or cooperative economics, it really goes a long way from what we know. Now, maybe the problem with the fact that we couldn't find a lot of information on South African-based co-ops, I think is solely because, our information goes undocumented. And there's a danger in that because then we don't know where to reference. We don't know where certain things come from because we don't have, the previous information that people had before us. Now, co-ops are very beneficial because you can go into business alone. But if you have other people and you fall short of resources, those people can help you, pump money, pump resources into the business. And now, when we look at the working force, because that's who makes up a majority of our co-ops, working class co-ops have a chance of being more successful than just co-ops. I think it's a bad thing to say Black people don't do co-ops because Black people have been doing stockfiles forever. Now, stockfile is a concept that is birthed from the idea of being a co-op. Now, the difference is that a stockfile is not a legal entity, so it cannot buy into a business legally, and there's certain transactions that it cannot do. But once you take those group of people and you transition them into a legally owned, legally recognized entity, the powers are different. Then people are able to buy. People are able to have a voice. Now, the nice thing about being a cooperative is that it doesn't matter whether you pumped in 15 million into the co-op or you pumped in 1 million. your voice matters as much as the next person, because co-ops generally are about democratizing ownership. Now, I'm going to put Ulebo on the spot because he has a presentation for us, just a little bit of education about our cooperative journey. But I don't know if we should we jump into the numbers first, let everybody in on where we're standing with our groups, co-op 1, co-op 2, and co-op 3 level? You're on mute. You are on mute.
Yeah, I'm saying you can run through the numbers and then I'll put up the press after that.
All right, guys. So with Co-op 1, which was formed by the first group of 100 people, we are on our second month of trading. Benoni, we've seen, we've seen some massive growth. What we communicated this week is something that has been happening since we opened. Obatabile, who's our front line in the franchising industry, she's been leading an aggressive marketing campaign where she gathers employees from the store and they run throughout the streets of Benoni, letting people know what we are about. Now, would honestly like to see more co-op members jumping in. And listen, it's something as simple as putting up a status update. We've got information. You've got the marketing collateral. We all know that it's hard for us to be out there and meeting at this time because, well, COVID. But yeah, let's jump in on the campaign and help help keep the numbers up, because people are coming into the store. The main thing is to let the community of Benoni know that, hey, here's a store owned by 100 people, and here's what we offer. Now, moving on to group 2, the second group of 100, we'll be launching the second store very soon. I think I'm safe to say in a few weeks' time, in less than a month, hopefully, I stand corrected. In less than a month, we'll be launching the second store. We've chosen the location. Members know where the location is. So if you are on our WhatsApp group, you are privy to this information, it's just that we can't share everything with the general public. Sorry, guys, if you want to be inside, if you want an inside scoop, to join. And then we have a third group of 100 people who have raised just above 300,000 rands. And this is from December now. We still have a lot of spaces open. I think if we don't have more than 20 people, like there's spaces available. So if you'd like to join and you've got the 15,500 rands cash, please feel free to join us. Go into our website, click on join our community, register so that we have your details, and then you can move on to Stockfile app. All right, I think we're good.
Is this what we call pitch done?
And it was 150 seconds.
Anyway, good morning, guys. Thank you, Mbani. I thought what I should do this morning, we're constantly talking about the concept of thinking ownership, right? And it's something we've believed in for years, but we've found ourselves being very aggressive with that concept, especially in the last 12 months or so. With the journey of that having mostly been around powering up entrepreneurs, helping people start out with their ideas and taking them somewhere, we've realized that there's a pivot that has happened in the marketplace. Entrepreneurs are leading Stockfile. It's an amazing journey, and different players in the ecosystem are doing different things. So take, for instance, Tsepo. Tsepo has built a platform, and this is what has catapulted a lot of people who have seen the opportunity and done something with it. We have raised over 3.5 million rand in close to 8 months, buying into franchises, because we leveraged an existing technology. It's about the digitization of entrepreneurship and the democratization of entrepreneurship, which is about enabling others to participate meaningfully and in an equitable manner, where we all see ourselves as equals and can participate in a way that leaves us and gives us dignity. I think that's the power of cooperative economics, because it speaks to collective courage. It speaks to so many things that we can all contribute to collectively and do some amazing stuff. And of course, there's going to be teething issues, and we're not the first. I was chatting to a gentleman a couple of days ago whose father was one of the founding presidents of NAFCOC, as an example. And I was telling him that I remember when Dr. Simon Sonyane came to THAD, he's now gray hairs. I think he's probably 90 or 91 right now, the old man. He's the founding president of NAFCOC. He's the founding president of African Bank. This is in the 60s, during apartheid. When you start thinking about that, you realize that nothing is new under the sun. Before then, there were other people that tried different things. So we must never be cocky and think we're the first to market or this is brand new. Nothing is brand new under the sun. All that we are doing, we're standing on the shoulders of giants, and we're trying to take this thing somewhere, in a way that empowers ourselves and our communities so that we can move in a sustainable manner forward. So I'm just going to take you through a couple of concepts that I've come across, and specifically speaking to new age Stockfels that are in my circle. And some of them we've interviewed these guys in the past. And I just want to sensitize people so that people are aware of the opportunities that are out there. You'll tell me how it appears, Mbadi, because
okay.
What are you seeing on your screen? Because I can't see on the other side now. Thank you. I want to give credit to the guys that designed this. Somebody, when you get a chance, please find out on the net where the source of this image, and let's actually credit the source on the image, because we use it a lot in different presentations. But this is so aptly captured, It speaks to community, community capital, Imagine social capital linked with community capital. That's the power, that's the engine of entrepreneurship within African communities. Everybody has got a role to play, and a very critical one. As long as we have a very clearly defined goal of where we are headed and what we are trying to do with it, we can all participate. Somebody else starts a store, think of that money franchise Stockfile. Somebody else starts a housing Stockfile or property Stockfile, things Slindile, farming, all sorts of things. Everybody's got a role to play towards the collective contribution of where we are all headed. So here's an example of like a living example of what we have all done. We have gathered 100 members and have bought into a franchise brand, and there it is. It's physical. So it tells you that digitizing Stockfiles works. There's a lot of people who say, don't do Stockfiles digitally because you'll be scammed. It moves away from the principles of Stockfiles and stuff. I say bull dust. Those people do not want to innovate, and they want to be stuck in the past, and they're going to die because of that. Like their Stockfiles are going to die, and the way that they're doing things is not moving with the times. I mean, before this, we did not have cell phones, we did not have technology. Now that we have technology, let's move with the times and move forward. And we're thankful to Stockfile, the platform, for enabling us to be able to mass mobilize strangers, and they become friends. And the result is a living, breathing store that we are all transacting from, and we are serving our customers from. So what do we believe in? We believe in creating communities, and may I add, transactional communities. We build markets and we serve people. When we're trying to show you that this is an ecosystem, a transactional community speaks to crowdfunding. Building markets speaks to the fact that we have a store, we can source some of the suppliers in those stores, and not just this, but multiple things. And then the very people who own the stores are the same people that we get to serve as our customers. So it completes the cycle. And this is an African principle, and we live by it. Okay, Lebo, why are you showing us this? Anyway, here's the reason. Palisa says a Stockfile is not an investment, but it can be used to make one. Palisa is one of our directors in Barui, which is part of the movement that has set up that money franchising Stockfile. She's got a book out, and I recommend that you look for it. It's called Stockfiles, How They Can Make Money Work For You. Very, very important lessons in that book. I absolutely recommend it. Now, there are different types of Stockfiles. I'm focusing on investment Stockfiles. You find them in the equity space, in property rentals, in small and medium enterprises, in livestock, agricultural value chain, in banking, in franchising, in transport, and there's many more. So I will highlight some of them. Here we have Slindile with Sakisi's with property Stockfile. Absolutely recommended. I have a lot of friends who have participated, and they're seeing money in the bank every month. And that's such an important thing. I decided to highlight the ones that are actually working and that have shown results and that are showing results. So The principle is the same. People pool funds together, and once a target is reached, they commission a property specialist to buy, build, and rent out. They buy out, they pay out monthly. They've raised over 4 million rand, and I think it's over 5 million by now. I stand to be corrected, but Scarcity property Stockfile is doing over 1 million a month in collections, and they're buying property, so they're buying tangible things that everybody can see. And I am saying this so that you are able to differentiate between the scams that you see on the internet all the time and things that are real, that entrepreneurs are using. We're using this as a mechanism. So you must constantly ask yourself, this vehicle is a way of doing what? So for us, it's a way of raising money to invest in property. This is for Scarcity property Stockfile. And then you've got a chicken farming Stockfile. This is Afrifam Crowd. You can see their website there. I hope you're noting these things down, because I will not share the presentation. Afrifam Crowd, they produce and breed chicken and eggs at scale. They focus on vertical integration from farm to fork for chicken produce. Very common amongst, this is very common amongst big business. So if you think about this, they are democratizing the space of farming. They have helped so many other groups on the ground to set up their own chicken farms. And because they have the model, end to end, they're building the value chains. I mean, they're currently building out a network of black stores. They called BLAQUE. This is also, those stores are also owned by the crowd. Absolutely admire what they're doing, and I think it's an amazing journey to participate in. This is led by Sami and Mutupi. And then one of my friends runs Livestock Wealth. They've already paid over 10 million rand in profits to investors. They do some really amazing work helping people own assets in farming without actually owning the farms themselves, which is an amazing thing. And again, the concept is the same. Pool funds together and invest in good cows. And I think they've moved even into macadamia nuts and a whole lot of other things. So really amazing opportunities there. Absolutely recommended. Check them out, and you will see success stories. If you want to check the credit or the credibility of anybody, check them out on Google first, and don't go for the first result that you find. Go through different stories, because we live in a digital age which promotes transparency. People can plant anything on the internet that makes them look good, but what's often good is that customers and investors also often speak if they're unhappy. So search as much as possible, and then you're going to find the things that work for you. Ours, which you already know, is Start Money Franchising Stockfile. Here at this stage, when this slide was up, we were still at this amount, but we've raised close to 3.5 or just over 3.5 million, and we are headed for 300 members separated into groups of 100, each owning their own store. And the journey is amazing ahead, and I'll share towards the end in terms of some of the vision that we have with our 100 store goal. And then this is a Stockfile that we set up in November of 2017. It used to be called the Brown Sand Stockfile when it was set up, and it was an amazing initiative amongst African people who wanted to drive financial inclusion in a practical way. So we then evolved and called it the Peoples Stockholm. It's currently in a process of registration to be a CFI, cooperative financial institution. It has paid back into the fund. The People's Fund has paid back into the Stockfile 2.1 million rand. This is just from pocket change, where each and every Black person or that's participating puts in 100 rand. So Iklipa Joe is a concept of taking your small pocket change and investing it into something that works. I mean, if you know the concept of easy equities, the platform, you could think of this platform as that, but specifically for purchase order funding. And the goal here is to set up a bank. It's going to be called the People's Bank. We are in CFI phase. The next phase after being a cooperative financial institution is cooperative bank. From cooperative bank, it becomes a mutual bank. From mutual bank, it becomes a commercial bank. So we've got a long journey ahead, but exciting times. I think over 1,500 members by now. I stand to be corrected. And we're rising. We're rising in a really beautiful way. The People's Fund is a fund that we set up in July of 2017. We've already transacted over 200 million rand in revenue to date. And investors get some really great returns. Again, it's the power of the crowd. We believe in a people-led economy. and here we are proving it. So each of the things that I'm showing you, and it's not all of them, you can share in the comment section some of the ones that you're aware of that are working. I don't want you to share concepts. You must share what's working, because we after results. Black people are being scammed every day out of their last money because they're getting retrenched and stuff. So try and be responsible with what you share, and share things that work with the proof. We are talking proof. I talk results when I present anything, and I think that's what makes us trustworthy in the marketplace. Stockfile, an award-winning platform. They've won awards with the MTN and all sorts of other platforms, and they are doing amazing work in pulling stock files together and giving them a digital platform, so that whether you are in Cape Town, Australia, wherever, and you happen to be part of a like-minded group, we can set up something and quickly get going in crowdfunding. So if you think about crowdfunding is a stock file that went to private school, guys. There's nothing to it. So we already know what crowdfunding is amongst African communities, and we are leveraging off what we already have. Choosing the right platform is very important. There's many other platforms. I am sharing with you Stockfile because I use it and I can vouch for it, because there's many people who have invested with us, who have put money and who are shareholders with us, and we have used, and the platform is what has enabled us to be able to do such amazing work. I hate stock files. So sharp. If you hate stock files and you hate the traditional concept because it involves too many people, no problem. What I wanted to share with that is, always think about what investors want. Investors always want clarity around what problem is the business trying to solve, what need is it trying to satisfy, how big is the market that you're entering. For instance, I can give you an example with the fast food franchising that we have entered into. It's currently an 84 billion rand industry, and we are going for 30% of that, which is about 24 billion rand. And it's going to grow over the next 5 years exponentially. It's got there's some statistics on. But if you can just find us that image that you had shared with the insights, so that we can give people a very clear picture of where the market is going. We can have COVID, we can have all sorts of things, but people are not going to stop eating, and population growth is growing exponentially, and therefore people are always going to eat. They're always going to go to the toilet. Think about essential services. Think about things that are not market sensitive, and you will realize which problems you must choose to solve so that you get paid for them. And then, how do you turn this into this opportunity into a revenue stream? Be very clear and concise with it. How are you going to do this? Investors are always interested in the how. What resources are required to execute? That also speaks to team dynamics. Do you have the right team in place? Can you clearly articulate the potential to make profit? So don't preach, don't sell dreams. Just be real about stuff. Do your homework. Some of the places where you can go and look for funding, if you don't want to set up a Stockfile or a cooperative, government agencies are a great place, but I do know that there's shortages even in those spaces. So NEF, they have a nice platform, and I put this image up from their website. I really liked how they help you with your business plan. So you can create a business plan on the NEF website, which is a very important thing. You don't have to go and think hard about your own business plan alone. You just fill in a form, and then it generates a document. IDC tries hard, CIFA tries, and then there's a link here, Money 101. It tells you of the list of grants as a Black entrepreneur that you can access in this country, in South Africa, which is an amazing thing. So our government is trying, but we do know that there's limitations all around. So work with what you got and see how far you go. If you are looking for consultation, and this is just me because people often do this, after I've shared such insights, people want to DM me and talk further. I do offer these consultations, and they're not free. Thank you. Buddy, back to you.
I'm going to share the photo now. It's just that my screen is not moving.
It's okay. You can drop the photo in WhatsApp, and I can.
Okay, cool. Let me do that. Just give me a minute.
But you cheated a lot of people out of a great presentation. Even I know this is a great presentation. You did not.
I know it's a great presentation as well. It was just it's rainy outside. I apologize. But anyways, you guys can recap on YouTube, and then since we'll be launching our podcast soon, you can also catch the conversation on our Apple Podcasts and also on SoundCloud. We are making sure that these conversations, as important as they are, that you are able to get access to them.
Okay. Have you shared the image? I don't see it
Yeah,
yet.
I'm sending it now. Here you go.
Okay. The moment. No, not the OVK one.
Which one are you looking for?
The food industry market insights. I'll share the OVK one. I don't mind, but remember that I was talking about the size of the food industry.
Naila Legupis community from FASA.
Hang 10. Okay. Just share updates. I'll find the image quickly.
All right. So this is an article from Biz Community. It was published on the 28th of January. Whilst FASA is a voluntary representative body of the broader franchise sector in South Africa, representing franchise brands across 14 different business sectors, the largest of its franchise sectors is fast foods and restaurants, which make up 26% of the franchise pie. Are those the numbers that you're looking for, Lebo?
Absolutely not. You are not in your element today. It's okay. Don't worry. You'll come back. I know you.
Which numbers are you looking for?
Don't worry. That's what I'm saying. Continue on your side. I'll find you the image.
I'll find the numbers. I'm not sure which numbers you're looking for. So just direct me and then I'll go straight to that page.
It's insights into the fast food industry and its size. There's an image you did. I'm even looking for it on Instagram on our third page.
Okay.
You now remember.
Let me find that. I think it's the one with the burger.
Probably.
But wouldn't it be interesting though, just to find out how many stock files are actually on Stockfile app?
No, Tsepo has those numbers, but I think it's about 10 that have crossed 1 million. So the needle is beginning to move, which is a beautiful, amazing thing. It means more and more people are responsive.
Yeah, getting into the culture.
Yeah, and the reason for that, this is just my opinion and not supplied by Tsepo. So in case he's watching and then he WhatsApps me saying, hey, Mona, what are you saying? It does that.
I think this is the image you're looking for. Let me just share with you now.
Oh, perfect. Oh, I've been searching. I think it was removed on Instagram.
Is that the one?
Yes, that's what I was looking for.
It's not a burger, it's a burrito.
That's English, bro. Now it's gonna show my nudes on screen. Let me try and close the other.
Okay, let me share the link with you so you can just share screen because you have access to this. And you can share it as, yeah.
Who's Shampiri? Is that his?
I think so. You know, people on the internet using different.
Tumelo, tell us why is it Jasha? We are interested.
Oh, actually, his friends call him that. It is him.
Is it a nickname?
Yeah, it's his YouTube name. You know, everybody's making content these days.
What are you seeing on screen, buddy?
Yeah, I'm seeing the image. I'm seeing the image.
You're seeing the OVK one, ne? Oh no,
No.
Okay.
I'm seeing the burrito.
Got you. I'm busy moving things around here, guys. But anyway,
there's a bigger one that I just sent. If you can, all right.
No, it's fine. So
okay.
No, but this one, let me see, they have 50,000 street food in Kassel. It's fine. The one I'm looking for, but is not the one quoted by Gigi. This is
Okay.
Gigi. I get it. There's an insight that we shared which speaks to the fast food industry, and not informal economy, street food, and all of that. Like literally fast food industry, because we have chosen to go the franchising route, and in the franchise industry, and that image speaks to 84 billion rand when it comes to what's been quantified as in the market research that was done. But even this is fine. The point that I was trying to make with that image is that the industry that we are tapping into, and when you're thinking about how to present a business opportunity to people that must crowdfund with you or for you, is what's the size of the market? That's the question that gets asked, right? You must be able to clearly articulate it, that it's an industry worth 84 billion rand, and that's what the internet tells us. And therefore, you have some line of sight of what opportunities lie in that space, and what can be done should you decide to participate meaningfully, and should people want to help out. They must have a very clear picture of where you are headed with this. And for us as Third Money, the opportunity here is for us to really focus on helping the average person who wouldn't normally be able to put down 1.5 million rand by themselves and buy a store. We've said, let's divide this equitably. 100 people can all get together. And those 100 people, which is often quite crazy, is that they also have their own groups. So Lebu puts in 15K, but he's actually dividing that 15K with his brother and sister, and they each popped in 5K into this thing. And then Lebu signs a contract with them that he will be the representative for them in the Stockfile, in the cooperative, but he doesn't have to raise 15K by himself. And that is the beginning of wealth creation for us, where we are thinking ownership in a practical, tangible way, where we are participating, where entrepreneurs are driving something forward. So that's what I really wanted to share, that how we are thinking about this is to go beyond just owning stores, to go beyond just being franchisees. 65% of our portfolio will be from mainstream brands, because you must mitigate against risk. You don't mess around with people's money, especially in such hard times, But 35% of our portfolio is where we are going to build brand new stores, like new brands that are not franchises as yet. It's a Black-owned brand. It's performing really well in the township, and we see potential to help it grow into a national asset. We will help those who will franchise that, and we'll buy a considerable stake so that we can bring our value chain into the mix. We are talking to chicken Stockfels as an example, who will be some of our suppliers into those stores that will set up the 35% portfolio. We are looking at a Stockfile for scooters, Why? Because our stores buy so many delivery bikes. The future is about delivery, not just waiting for people to come into your store, because market regulations come with all sorts of dynamics right now. If you don't have a delivery service and you're not linked to the internet, you're in big trouble as a small business, because you're going to lose out on a massive pile of income, just purely because the government tells people not to go to the store. When government has said that, what can you do as an entrepreneur? But if you have provided to make sure that you are linked to the internet and people can order, and you deliver to their doorstep, you are winning. And we've seen those that have done that are winning. Some of the stores within the Jimmy's brand, for instance, that we've bought into, are killing it. They're doing over 700K a month. And this is just purely because they've got a mix of opportunities. And that's what we want to build into, really seeing that opportunity. And we want to learn the learnings that we take out of that. We want to apply them into the brand new stores that are being run by entrepreneurs. And when we bring in the crowd, then the crowd gets to get a piece of the pie.
And I think the important thing to take away was that we realized just how much we don't create our own products during the lockdown. Imagine coming into a Gota shop and they're like, hey, we don't have sauces because the sauces supplier is not even in the country. Forget around the corner, not even in the country. Yeah. Now, if we've got lawyers within our system, we've got farmers within our system, we've got manufacturers within the system, it legit means we do not need we do not need everybody else because we are enough. We've got the resources, and it works.
I absolutely agree. But are you able to display that image on your side?
Is that the one that you wanted?
Yes, that's what I wanted.
Right, let me share the link with you so that you can just switch screens.
Okay. Where are you sharing the link here in the...
On your WhatsApp. It's in.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just a moment, guys. So you'll realize that today's broadcast has us obsessed with showing, each one teach one, is what they often say. We are trying to, through collective knowledge, as we share these insights, you are going to have other insights that you like, Lebs, have you thought about this? So these things literally become conversation starters, and it's so critical because it helps all of us to grow. It's not nobody can eat the whole pie by themselves. We all have to share in some form or the other.
Correct.
Okay?
And since you mentioned Stockfellas, say good. If anybody's out there and saying, listen, I've got that product for you guys, please hit us up real quick. Because in the COVID age, deliveries work. Nobody wants to go into the restaurant and sit down and eat, even if you do get that chance, but it's highly unlikely. So people want their food to come to them.
Okay. Tell me what it shows.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah. So this is the stat I was looking for, guys. South Africa is the largest food service market in sub-Saharan Africa, with a large and highly competitive hospitality industry. The South African fast food market size was valued at $2.7 billion in 2018, and it's expected to reach $4.9 billion by 2026. And you can see the where you can find the statistics for yourself. So just get on the net, do a bit of searching around these things, and you will start understanding where you must go, which problems to solve for. We are trying to solve for the problem of democratization of entrepreneurship, and we realize that just having one person trying to run an entire thing is not enough anymore. How do you get a crowd involved? How do you get their skills? How do you get them to participate with their skills and everything else? And our way is by democratizing this through Stockfile, which we turn into cooperatives. And we're not the first. Whether you're looking into Nigeria, America, Germany, Spain, the concept of cooperatives is a big one. And globally, worker-owned cooperatives always weather the storm. Whether a pandemic comes or anything else, workers protect the company assets because they have ownership in them, and it feeds them in return. So we're trying to build on that model. It's still early days. I mean, if you think about one of our stores, when we set up the store, we create 12 jobs, 12 to 14 jobs. How amazing is that? That 12 people who were not employed before now have an income that feeds their families. And it's often been said that amongst Black families, what you'll often find is that one income serves about 5 to 6 people. Now when you start thinking about this exponentially, you realize that there's so much power in community, in us doing things collectively and moving forward. We are trying to leverage that. We don't have all the answers. We are learning, but we want to learn by doing, not learn by being philosophers. Always thinking and always writing on Facebook. If 100 of us got together, the if thing must stop. You must just launch. When I launched the Facebook thingy in June of 2016, I just put a status update, said that my Stockfile coming up, who's in, and we had like 52 emails. People put up 52 emails, and then we had to build backwards. So like, okay, we've got demand for this. People actually like it. How do we go about building systems? And it's just been a constant rush of building systems on the back of something that we have launched. And we are here. I mean, we're going through governance challenges, as in we've set up boards of directors. We as the management team, the concept owners, there's so much, we're racing against time. On the one side, we must make money for the store so that shareholders are winning. On the other side, we must set up strong, deep-rooted systems so that this is an institution. Why we are building a 100-year organization? We want to make sure that should label die, should anybody get hit by a bus or anything happens, this thing remains and it grows. Often,
it's still right.
you find that things that are set up by individuals die when they die. I do not want that. We're about legacy. I want to make sure that my kids can eat from the fruits of what we are building here, and everybody else was participating meaningfully. So that is the thought process. As to how we're going to see it to the end, God knows, you know. I don't think that Sonia thought long and hard about the price they had to pay when they set up African Bank. African Bank is not owned by African people today, and it could have been, you know. But what often happens is that we all come together as a collective, money comes in, we rise, we move up, and then we get divided by outsiders who come in and sow divisions. So we have to really focus on the end goal. The vision must be so big that no one person can actually manage it on their own. And then accountability must become the anchor of everything else that we're doing. If we're not accountable to ourselves, to the collective, to shareholders, to everybody else, then we are just playing. It's just another pyramid scheme. So we are trying really hard to be transparent in how we raise money, in how we build these companies, and in how we recruit people that can help us expand the vision because they already have the skill. And I've seen in our franchise Stockfiles, we've got senior people in government, senior people in corporate, executive directors of companies, of listed companies, people that sit on boards. They're all just participating. They're like, oh, snap, somebody finally decided to do something about it. So that's where we're at. We're hoping that you'll come along for the journey. It costs you only 15,500 rand to put money into this thing, and then you're part owner of a growing base of people that are moving society forward.
And you know, by creating, it no longer becomes something we want to do. It becomes a necessity now. You know, we need to be able to sustain our own communities by providing the service, by providing the skill, by pumping in capital whenever it's needed. It's necessary in order for our businesses to keep running. I mean, at the level of that McDonald's plays, but McDonald's has, you know, 10,000, 15,000 people behind them that are supporting the end goal. And it took years to build the brand into that level. So we might be starting out now, but I mean, in a few years' time, we'll be way ahead. So maybe just a bit of clarity here, Lebo. So, okay, fine. The plan is 100 stores, right? Are these 100 stores food franchise stores, or within those franchises, we'll have food franchises, we'll have different franchises altogether? Like you said, Stockfile some bikes on the side.
Yeah. So right now we're still setting up primary co-ops, and primary co-ops are going to be funding instruments for the main purpose, which is 100 stores, right? Some of these co-ops that we're going to set up in the next 5 years are going to be value chain. For now, let's create a big enough asset base for us to be able to have proper collective buying power. So imagine owning 100 stores. How many bags of potatoes is that? That's true, yes. That means we can buy into an existing farm that is doing really well, and then augment it towards our needs. Or we can take existing farmers who are within our co-ops and train them and get them capacitated to a level to the highest level. I wanted to share with you, by the way, buddy, that McDonald's globally employs 210,000 people.
Imagine that.
The power of building strong brands. Amazing.
But I mean, is it also about, you know, is it also about employment also for us? I'm here to create jobs.
In fact, for us, it's twofold, buddy. It's creating jobs, and then it's supply chain development. We are trying to develop our own network of black suppliers because there's limited scope and opportunity within corporate value chains. Corporate companies are not built to continually grow. Once they get to a particular level, they work on efficiencies. It means cutting down costs all the time. Whereas small and medium enterprises are still on a growth trajectory, therefore they can employ a whole lot. So we are trying to be in that space where we realize there's a lot of really smart, quality, small black-owned suppliers, but they don't have the marketplace opportunity. So we can do the market because we are the buyers, we're the consumers of goods and services. And imagine if collectively we set up really strong bases for that to happen. And it's already happening in the marketplace with different people. So we want to contribute to that story.
And from where we're operating right now, I mean, with the store, where would you say, we are experiencing a scarcity?
Oh, we one of the biggest challenges that we currently have, the food industry, the fast food industry, globally, by the way, is set up in such a way that it employs foreigners. And why foreigners? Because it's an entry-level job opportunity market. You don't need a lot of skills to work in a restaurant. You just need to have the right attitude and be able to serve people, right? And as a result, the income is a whole lot lower than being, for instance, in an office job. But if you treat it as a starting point, I mean, I remember when I was growing up, whenever I went to restaurants, I used to see white kids serving us. And these kids came from really dope-ass families, they had money. But on average, if you were like 16, 17, you were working in a restaurant. And there was part-time pocket money and stuff, and as well as during your university days. So a lot of people, unfortunately, in a market like ours, where unemployment is so rife, that is their career, But you find that foreigners end up dominating. We have tried to change that, and it's a challenge. It's a challenge because you work with labor unions and it's highly regulated. But when you look at income versus demand, there's always a challenge, and we're trying to find middle ground. So that's one: jobs, employees is a challenge, and then finding quality suppliers at the level that the franchisor requires is also a challenge.
So I would imagine, I mean, you guys are a fully functioning restaurant and takeaway store. So are you saying that the amount that is on offer is minimum wage still, but does not attract, our local people?
Yeah. Whether you are in London, and I've seen this globally wherever I go. If you're in London, you find South Africans. So in South Africa, for instance, you find majority Zimbabweans working in the fast food industry, the hospitality industry. In London, it's Zimbabweans and South Africans. A lot of South Africans who leave the country, we get that side, and they're working at Nando's, they're working at other, and they're doing a lot of piece jobs because you need multiple jobs to be able to make up the amount that you need, in any given.
Yeah, you find them working 2-3 jobs a day.
Exactly. So local South Africans are lazy to start off with when it comes to this space, and something can be done about it. It's about a change of attitudes, and it's going to take time, but here we are.
All right. Now, group 3. We know that the second group of 100 will be launching pretty soon in a couple of weeks. What's the plan for group 3? Where are we headed? Have we, where are we scouting?
We've got confirmed sites in Secunda. We have a mall that's currently being built in Secunda. It's definitely ours. We've signed on the dotted paper. So that's one of the spaces that we're going to be launching. We've got another one in Randfontein, a mall that's currently being built there. It's going to launch in April. So that one is also signed and sealed. That's our store. The Soweto one that we are meant to launch next month, we ran into teething issues, and we are currently resolving them. And the board will communicate accordingly in due time. But we haven't lost. There's a win coming.
All right.
Through conversations, yeah.
All right. And also, I just want to understand, the method to the madness. Why are these people going out to launch stores in the middle of a pandemic? That doesn't seem like it's going to end anytime soon.
because there's the growth of what do they call it? There's a term I was reading about around 3 this morning. I think it's called the household economy. That's the word I was looking for. And the household economy, I read that on this community. The household economy means more of us are at home every day. We're doing our work from home. We are also homeschooling. We're doing all sorts of things. So we require convenience of service. So that's what I was explaining even earlier. That's people that have positioned their business to be digital. I mean, think about Take It Out. Take It Out is killing it. Take It Out is the new supermarket, and you're ordering everything online. Then you go to the local distribution center. You pick up your thing. You go back.
You pick it up. Yes.
So all the beautifying of stores and stuff is a bit of a gray area, right? But we are finding, especially in the fast food industry, the franchise brands that have positioned them well, using your Mr. Deliveries and your Uber Eats, their income, their revenues are shooting up. You know, they are on the other side of 60% with their GPs and stuff. So we know that there's massive opportunity for us in that space because the consumer market remains resilient. It's led by the middle class, and a lot of those people are employed by big companies. They buy from. The problem is that we keep ordering, right? But you don't even know who owns that store you're ordering from. Now you can own the store and buy from it, growing your portfolio.
Yeah. I mean, with the delivery services, I'm pretty sure it's beneficial. We had this conversation last week with Anis, just how beneficial it was for them to ramp up their delivery system. It's a great thing that we partnered with Mr. Delivery, Uber Eats and all that. It would really.
And we bought our own scooters.
Sorry?
And we bought our own scooters.
Yes. So how are we looking into investing, in that market where, people can go onto, the Jimmy's website and they can order from any Jimmy's and get their food delivered to them? Is that something we're looking into?
That's the franchisor question, not a franchisee question. For us, we have a really simple delivery mechanism in place.
Yeah.
You order via WhatsApp. If you're at our Pinoni store, we've set up all the digital platforms. You can order your food through WhatsApp, and it can be delivered as long as you're within a 3 to 5 kilometer radius. You can order through Uber Eats or Mr. Delivery. So that's all the digitization of making sure that we can get the food to you in the comfort of your home. And this is why it's so important for us to set up stores in other communities where there's growth opportunities, and where we can see that, and how you start measuring or profiling communities, where you can see a lot of building of new houses or new properties, where you can see schools being set up, you're seeing a hospital nearby, you must know that there's money being spent. And if you're not part of that transactional cycle, you've lost out. So we are not about to lose. Why? We think ownership.
Yeah. So the interesting thing was that just a few months ago, we're solely looking in Gauteng, because that's where majority of us are. And now you just told us Uguti store number 3 just might be in Secunda, which is not too far away, in Mpumalanga. So how far are we branching out in the near future?
Look, a friend of mine has a saying. She often says, slow is smooth, and smooth is fast. And that's such an important thing. It means we mustn't rush. If you build up very quickly, you're going to die because you won't have capacity. So we are trying to reach out into areas where I can get on my bike or in my car and shoot out there. I've ridden to Secunda as an example.
So it's still pretty close,
And we are going to eventually get into your Durbans, your Bloemfonteins, your Cape Towns, but not right now. For now, we want to deepen our roots and build out our systems and strengthen our offering, our value offering, where we can control inefficiencies and quality control and all sorts of things. Like, it's so important because a franchising model is built on owner manager. So we have to kill, even though we've got people working for us, we must show up in the otherwise
constantly,
either employees will steal or stock management. There's a lot of things that can go wrong if you are not hands-on in your business. So we're building out slowly, and eventually, I mean, we've said to you, within 5 years, we're gunning for we're gunning for 100 stores. So
and they're not going to be, and they're not all going to be in Joburg. So
of course.
All right. I'm asking this question because of everyone else on our social media who's like, hey, when are you guys coming to Western Cape? Even if we're in Western Cape, you can still join, you know, you can help us build from where we are. It doesn't matter because all our systems are digitized. Our communication is digitized. We're having this conversation digitally. No matter where you are, you can still get the information because of the current world that we live in. But yes, in the near future, it would be interesting to see where we actually end up. You know what's interesting? When you introduced the Stockfile conversation last year, I think we were on level 5 lockdown. When we launched, we were on level 5. You know, it's one thing to know what you want. It's another as a leader to come and convince your team, with guys, this is where we are moving. Because remembering where we are as a team, like I couldn't even understand Stockfiles, we're buying franchises now. It did not make sense at all. But because you were certain and sure about where we were going, we ended up catching on. So, I mean, that was great leadership on your side. And since then, we've seen, you know, a number of people gathering and hopping on, putting that money where their mouth is. And it's just wonderful to see. So this is for the skeptics. We were also skeptic, just as maybe you may be. So you are not the first one to ask all these kind of questions. Are these people real? Are these people doing the right thing? The fact that our communication is transparent and you can access you can see where the money is. You can see where the money is stored. So you can access the Stockfile platform and see who's putting in money, who's taking out money, who's saying what, within the ecosystem that we've created, just to make sure that you feel secure in putting your money in the middle of a pandemic where you might be like, this might be my last 15K, but don't worry about it. And also, the reason why we want you to register through our website is so that you can get the info pack. You know, a number of the questions that people ask are already answered about how everything is going to run, about their returns, when are they getting that money back, how much money am I actually supposed to pay to be part of the co-op, and things like that. These questions come up every day, but if you have the presentation, then you are mostly on the safe side. Otherwise, Lebo, I think I'm going to end it there. Do you have anything else that you want to share before we depart?
Hey, you don't have to join ours. Just start a Stockfile today.
Yeah.
And think ownership in everything that you do.
Yeah.
And if you require our services in understanding further, it's going to cost you. I charge 1,000 Rand for 30 minutes on a virtual consultation. If you're looking for insights or looking for assistance in setting up your own. But we have a moving vehicle and it's working. It's functional. It's got a very capable team. We've got Batabile, who's got the franchising ecosystem model. We've got Tepo, who has the Stockfile platform. We've got Padlisa, who educates us on Stockfiles. She's got the governance structures. And we've got us, who are the mouthpiece and who bring it all together and bring it to life. You know, so that tells you that we've got a skill set in-house that enables us to execute. And we've got our teething issues. We're going through a lot. We don't sleep. I think you can see what my eyes look like. But hey, we're here for the long term. And, you know, just as a humble brag, the People's Fund has got over 200 million Rand. The People's Stockfile, we've paid back over 2.1 million Rand. 100 Rand is for With that, we've spread out across Africa into the UK and Israel and Australia. We've been to places, man, you know, and we've seen superstars rise out of our platform, the likes of Skinny Spuzu, Lazy Makotis, you know. So we have like proper depth in the entrepreneurship space. And we have some of our partnerships are with Workshop 17. I mean, Workshop 17 has just won an award for being the best co-working space in the world, you know. So
I just wanted to say, and thank you to everyone who voted.
You know, so that's me saying, look, we are credible. Look us up. Search on Google. Ask other people before you join, and you've got credibility issues. And thank you so much for trusting us. Business is built at the speed of trust, after all.
Yay! Think ownership. We'll see you guys next Friday at 11.
Cheers.